Guys, gals, welcome back to SOS. I'm Staff Sergeant Badass. Today, I want to talk about how they could try and kill us in 2024. And this has been bugging me. I've been wanting to get on here and discuss some things that it's kind of been on my mind. Now, this kind of falls into the things I think about. If you've been following the channel for a long time, I get on these conspiracy rants. I don't have my aluminum foil hat or anything on, and I've got a whole backdrop of those, videos if you guys want to go back and check those out. Now, there's a lot of stuff happening that I don't like hearing, and it goes back to that bird flu situation, and they have hyped this up to the point that I think they really want us all in mask again. And I don't think any of us are going to comply with a lot of that stuff again, because I think we learned our lesson last time. I hope a lot of people did and don't comply with a lot of that stuff. And these vaccinations and stuff that they're pushing, now that's other countries trying to push that stuff, but it's only a matter of time before they start trying to cram that stuff onto us. Now, there's more than just bird flu going on. There's a lot of things. And don't let a good crisis go to waste. You always have to remember that when you start seeing these things, because a lot of these guys, they will not let any of these things go to waste. They'll utilize it for more security. You give up, you give up your freedom for more security. And it goes into like the cyber stuff, and we start talking solar flares. Oh, well, it's getting really bad. Well, the one that was recent, going back to that just for a second, the one that was recent was G6? That was the one that was in all the books. And a lot of you guys that read the prepper books say, anything from A American and 1 Second After and all these different books, and the type of EMP anomalies that would take place in some of these books that we read would have been on that catastrophic level. And like when I said earlier a few weeks ago, that was the one that made everybody want to run and go jump into their bunkers. That was the one. And I didn't hype it. I didn't make a video about it when any of that was happening. Look, if whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to look at. Just let it go. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I'm just like, there's nothing you can do now. It's already in the air. So whatever's going to happen, if there's no point in talking about it anymore. And if you're not prepared for a situation like that, you're not going to be. There's no way you can grab someone just as, oh, it's happening right now. You can't just grab somebody at that point and say, shake them real good and say, you should have done something. That's about all you can do at that point. Because, we're at that stage now where you're seeing all this stuff take place, all these doomsday scenarios take place, and we're on the brink of, I really think we're in World War III right now. It's just a wacky version of it, if you think about it. And that goes into other ways where we could all die. I like doing that. I'm sorry. There's some people who they like it when I get on the rants. They start talking about stuff, and then there's the ones that are like, he's laughing. I can't take him serious. But I'm laughing, but I stay happy. I stay happy all the time. Anyone who's ever met me knows I'm a happy person, and I try not to be hateful to anyone. So that goes back to like the robots and stuff like that. Now that bird flu thing, I'm going to get to the robot part here in a minute, because that's kind of freaking me out a little bit. And they're ramping up for invasions of all types, and they're using a lot of technology. And I want to point that out. But if you go back and you look, I think some of it's going to be food related. I think there is going to be a big attack on food and water. And you have to focus food, food. And also, I mean, when it comes to water, you just have to really think about, well, your situation. I don't know you, and I don't know where you're living. You could be in a small apartment. Don't think that Sippy and I always lived on a farm. That was never the case. We were preppers for, well, that's the bad term. We were into preparedness for a very long time. Many, 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 many years we've been doing this. So, I mean, just you can kind of figure that out. We've been doing this for years and years. Back when I was still in the military at the time, we were still doing this stuff. But we lived in a shanty the first few years of our marriage, and we still managed to prep. We still gathered canned foods. We'd spend and it breaks it down back to our situation we're in with inflation. It's pretty bad. And another fella, I don't know if he's watching, but Chipper had mentioned to me, he shared something that I shared. I think it was like a couple of years ago or something. Maybe it been 3 years ago. I'm not sure. Maybe he'll comment. I don't know. But he shared something with me that I shared on Instagram a while ago, and it goes back to these prepper books that I have, and it's from the LDS Preparedness. Now, if you look up the LDS Preparedness book, if you can buy one, because it is a trip. The topics that are in there are a trip, and the items you need to purchase and how much you need to survive, because this breaks down every food that you can think of, even garbanzo beans. I mean, weird stuff. It's all in there. Every little item you think you would need. How much rice a person would need exactly. I mean, they've done their research with that, and it had nothing to do with anybody else's wild thought. This isn't like, it isn't like me running into you. Yeah, man, go ahead and pick up. You want enough to fill up 3 5-gallon buckets. It's not that kind of, this isn't like a YouTube version of it, but you would go and, you would read their broke down version of it, of how much stuff you need. And it was really good, but it had the prices. I'm sorry, I was rambling. Had the prices on there of all the different items and how much you would need to spend each week to be able to stock your food storage. And it was crazy. I was looking at the prices, and he sent me the message, and I said, I posted that, didn't I? Wow. And I'm looking at, I said, well, I'm going to start looking these up. And I started looking them up, and I was like, that's like, it's like $5 more. If you needed $20 a couple of years ago to get your food storage in order each week, you put aside $20. It's not $20 anymore. It's 40. It is doubled. It is like 100% inflation. That is insane. That's just here. I'm in Tennessee. I don't hide that from anyone. Most people know I'm from Tennessee. But we go shopping out here. I mean, we don't have some of the same places that you folks, on the West Coast have, but then we've got a lot of places like everyone on the East Coast and Midwest. So a lot of these stores and stuff that we have, see, we don't have grocery stores in my area. In my area, we have food stores. Now, it has to be labeled differently because you can only have so many per county or something. That's the rules. Anyways, a lot of folks don't know that. But if you're shopping for this stuff for food storage, this is just one of the crises that I feel is on its way. You're going to need to double what you would have spent. So instead of spending 20, you're going to be spending about 40. But those lists are available. And I'm sure you can get those lists for free without buying the book. Okay, so for some of you that panic, I got to go buy a book now. You don't have to go buy a book. You can probably find that for free online. But it's a good starter point for a lot of you guys out there, because you just want to shake people and say, dude, you should probably be getting ready, because you don't want to go over to the guy's house. Say me, for example, like I won't be able to support a whole lot of people. Like if everybody starts knocking on my door, the handfuls of people that I can help, I can help. But it kind of goes back to, you get one person on your front porch that says, hey, man, tough times. Can you give us some food? And then you give them a little supply cash. You're like, man, have some rice. Here's some beans, and here's a bottle of water. Well, you don't think they're going to go away. They're going to go and tell their friends, and then they're all going to be in your driveway in a matter of weeks. Then it's, man, well, the BA's giving away food, man. He's got beans and rice and all that. He's going to come over, and then they end up on your porch, and then you got another one, and then another one. Then they're just all camping out there, and it's a welfare location. You're just handing out to people that it's like give a man a fish. You know what I mean? It's that kind of situation. You've got to do this stuff yourself. You can't rely on, folks that's been doing this stuff for years to supply you with stuff. And don't think that the people that have been doing this stuff for years are weak, because they're armed to the teeth. It's like the weapon wall behind me. Now, and a lot of people point out the weapon wall back. This is just, I take some items and I kind of just set them up. But and some cat was like, you better get all those weapons off the wall and put them in safekeeping. That's not all the weapons we have. But the other thing that goes into the weapon category, water, you're going to have to figure out your situation, but you need to start storing water, and it's real easy. You add some drops of bleach to some freaking empty jugs from old milk containers or whatever. I mean, you can come up with something to store water in. There's can't is not the situation. It can't do it is not the situation. You have to find a way to store it and put it up. You got to find a way. Now, your life depends on it. This has nothing to do with like, well, BA said. Your life depends on it. You want to live. You look at yourself in the mirror and say, I don't want to die. I don't want my family to die. So you need to make sure. And if your liberal nephew or whatever is out there going, well, I ain't gonna die, they're on their own sheet of music. Put some food back for him too. You know what I mean? Because when he comes to reality, or she comes to reality, then they show up to your doorstep, man. All this time, you were right, I was wrong. You don't sing the song at that point. This isn't a kid's show. So at that point, you're just going to have to, all right, I forgive you. Come in. You're going to help me garden. Whatever. Put them to work. So the other situation that's kind of got me concerned is all these Android autonomous type things. Now we started off with drones. Now, when I was in the military, I knew of some weird things. There were some weird MOSs popping up while I was still in, and drone experience and stuff like that. That actually became a MOS for some people. And they've got like external tanks for aircraft that can dump out thousands of drones and go and scan an entire area. And that's been going on for decades, and goes back to jammers. And, I know folks that were in like the Vietnam era. I mean, just a little while after that era, they started developing jammers. Jammers can shut down communications and all kinds of stuff in any city or town. You could fly over and shut down everyone's communication, shut down power, whatever you want to do. That stuff's been developed for a long time. It's just everybody kind of has that. It's kind of like in real life when you're just walking around doing stuff. You're not gonna walk up to some guy and just punch him in the face, because that guy's probably going to turn around and punch you in the face. So it kind of goes back to the mutual assured destruction. That it's going to happen to you in return. So a lot of the times this technology doesn't get used on each other. So they kind of keep that in reserve for when someone finally does push the other guy. So that's what a lot of that stuff's kept to the side for. Now, if we're at missile stage, then we're just missiling people, missiling and throwing rocks at each other. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, but the technology, that was with just drones, and drones have been doing all kinds of wicked things and assassinating people for many years now. And now I mean, we've got drones now that carry special munitions that can just, they call it the assassination drone. You should look that one up. It's pretty trippy. Tiny little flea-like thing, carries a projectile with an explosive device, and it can track your face, and nothing you can do swatting it or fanning it, you can't get away from it, and it'll hit you right in the head, and then the explosive tip, and your little brain nugget pops in the inside of your head. But that was, you know, seeing stuff like that kind of freaks you out. You're like, whoa. But then there's, you know, we go on to the dogs. We've made these robotic dogs so friendly. You know, they're just so friendly. You know, they've got them working for the fire department, and you've got them work. Oh, they can shoot a water hose. Well, it can also shoot fire. So, and this thing, well, we're going to use those to extinguish some fires. And a lot of folks are under the conspiracy that some of these robot dogs were used in different locations, and it goes back to the technology we have in outer space, where, you know, where the rooftops of houses are blue, they won't get hit with the ray beam that catches everything around it on fire. Because there's some places where these big fires have broken out where the houses with the blue roofs didn't catch fire. There was the houses that had, you know, normal roofs. Good roofs, bad roofs, and all that. That's another weird conspiracy that, you know, I don't talk about stuff like that on here, but you look at that one, you know, the fires and the blue roofs. You look that up and you're going to really trip out. But these robot dogs are being put to work where we like them. You know, oh, well, it's a robot dog. Isn't that a trip? It's neat. Kick it over, and it flips itself back over. Flips its legs back around and keeps moving again. Well, isn't that just the cutest little thing, you know? Until it kills you. If you think about, and some of the other technology, not just with the robot dogs, but the other types of grenades that are being developed that roll. I mean, this is stuff you see in sci-fi movies, but it's real. It's something we see every day. A way to scan an entire building to see if there's any life in it. We're beyond thermals, you know, for those of you folks out there with thermals, and you look in the backyard, and, oh, there's a deer over there, and, you know, there's a cow over there. For those of you folks, gotta do that stuff, but we're beyond that now. I mean, we're way beyond that. But you could drop one of these. I mean, just imagine an invasion. Say a foreign entity with lots of electronics flying over or whatever, and they find a way to, I mean, they can bring spy balloons over, no big deal, and float them around over the states for days on end before someone even notices them, shoots them down. So who's to say they don't bring another weather balloon over that has a freaking encapsulated of 100 freaking robot dogs that are armed with a freaking machine gun to its back and flamethrowers and whatever else. One day you're just at Walmart parking lot. You know, you could be out there like loading your kids back up in your pickup truck to go home, and then all of a sudden a freaking robot dog lands on your hood and then opens up and then aims its little freaking laser beam. You're like, where'd that come from? And then there's like 20, 30 more. I'm just saying, there's a big possibility that could happen. Now, I would just keep prepping because, I mean, the kind of stuff that we're seeing happen every day. I mean, if people getting tossed in prisons and things like that, it's just crazy what's happening. And I mean, it's only a matter of time before they come take all of us too. So I mean, I keep to yourself. I know I'm public and I don't care, but for the rest of you, I keep yourself kind of private. You don't have to tell everybody what you're doing, but for some of you, I mean, I'd start putting your little stashes away and getting ready for what's to come, because there's only a matter of time. And the chemical warfare stuff, you know, with World War II, World War III related type things, you know, for people who freak out about that stuff. If you're, if you don't have any of that stuff like a gas mask and some filters that can withstand some heavy duty stuff, and a good suit and everything else. Start getting it now. Don't wait. You can't keep waiting for that stuff's for sale all online all the time. You know, $10 here, $20 there, and you can get yourself like an NBC kit put together. And if you're just the man of the house and you don't expect your rest of your family going out and dealing with the things outside your home, just set it up for you. And just set it up for you. Whoever the person is that's designated going to be doing it, just set it up for you. You don't have to buy freaking, if you got a family of 6, you don't have to buy 6 of them. It's just set it up for yourself. I mean, ain't nobody made of money. But a lot of people get too carried away with this stuff, and they just, you know, weapons of opportunity. You don't want to have just firearms related stuff. So eventually, at some point, bullets run out. You want to make sure you have something that's reusable. So make sure you have that too. Bow, something. Learn how to shoot a slingshot. I don't know. But anyways, security. make sure you got some good perimeter defense. Some type of predators, you know, whatever. But I guess that's what I got. But it's eye-opening, and you really need to think about it. And you really should take my advice on your food and water, because you're going to end up in a situation where things just get crazy. And even if you're cycling through it, look, I don't just store food to store food, and I cycle through it. So get things that you're going to eat. Don't get things you're not going to eat, because you'll get food fatigue fast, and it'll be something you don't like, and you're going to be like, ugh, I don't want to eat that. So that's very unhealthy, especially for your family. But anyways, please like, share, and if you haven't, subscribe, please. And for all of you out there, keep trucking, and God bless. Take care and stay sane.